Guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account and we are looking at all of the Awakened heroes, which ones to choose, and kind of my logic and my reasoning behind it. So at this point we have seen a hero or an Awakened hero of every single faction. So we're going to run through there. I'm going to give you kind of some tips on here. With the first one we had Awakened was of course the Awakened version of Taylene. Now with Taylene, guys, it was kind of a game changer how they were building. A lot of players did see how expensive they are. Now she is utilized in the Celestial Sanctum. She is one of the primary damage dealers in there. We also do see her in Twisted Realm comps, and we see her in Cursed Realm comps. Now when it comes to PvP, it seems like she has kind of fallen out a little bit. I do see her in some formations sometimes, but overall it seems like she is not super effective within that PvP aspect, and we've kind of seen her fall from there. Next hero we look at is the Awakened version of Aziz. Now he unfortunately was pretty disappointing, even though you see that I do have him built out considerably here. There is not really a big reason to build him out, guys. The one single copy that you get having him at Legendary will be super effective early game, mid game. The single target crowd control ability will still be there. Now what I've noticed is with the Awakened version of Aziz is when you start running him within the Hypogean Tower, you can actually have a lot of issues with him because he doesn't die, meaning that Lucretia doesn't get the buff if you're running them in the same team. So overall, again, the utility for him has lowered quite a bit, and I don't see him in PvP as well. He is not utilized in the Cursed Realm. He is not utilized in the Twisted Realm. So unfortunately, for, again, the sheer cost of building an Awakened hero, we really don't see Aziz anywhere short of super niche. And again, building him out really doesn't have much benefit. Now that was followed, of course, by the Awakened version of Thane. Now, overall, guys, he is very effective, especially in a bunch of different game modes. We see him within the Cursed Realm. We see him within the Abyssal Expedition with that dodge factor because he is a ranger. And one of the big thing, guys, is when it comes to PvP, when it comes to the treasure scramble, he is super, super solid, guys. I would say overall, he is one of the absolute top heroes within PvP formation. With the burst damage that he can put out, he can take down and tear up targets very, very fast. Again, he was in a couple Cursed Realm comps. You can actually find a little more utility out of the original version of Thane, because remember, within that game mode, you do not kill the targets, which is kind of one of the triggers for Thane, which makes him super effective within that PvP aspect. Now, next one we look at, guys, is, of course, the Awakened version of Brutus. Now, he is just an absolute monster. We see him in multiple game modes, including the Abyssal Expedition. He is in Cursed Realm comps. We see him within the Temporal Rift. We also see him utilized in a lot of PvP, guys. He has a really solid all-around good utility, which I like within the hero. Again, if you're not super focused in PvP, he is a good choice because of the utility that we see within, again, multiple game modes building out the Awakened version of heroes. Now, looking at the Awakened version of Solus. Now, again, she is kind of unique in what she does. She is a healer. She is a support hero. Overall, guys, the healing she does is phenomenal. Now, if you want her to do more than just that healing aspect, when you start getting into the higher kind of damage aspect that she can perform exceptionally well, she does have to be built out. That is really one of the big things to remember. Building her out with gear, building her out with stats, unlocking all of her stats, because of course, a majority of the damage does come from spirit animations and a bunch of different aspects, which if you do not have her built, of course you do not unlock those within the Awakened heroes. And that is one thing to really remember with these heroes, guys. They are not only a very high investment with the time emblems to get copies of, as we have seen from building these guys out, but they also require a significant investment when it comes to the signature item, when it comes to furniture, and also when it does come to the engraving. To unlock their skills, you do have to build them out significantly. Now, of course, the one that we just got released, guys, is the Awakened version of Baden. So we know within the Cursed Realm, he is going to have a lot of utility. It is still a little bit early to see, but overall, guys, players are not impressed with the overall ability of Baden. Again, it seems like he's going to be niche within a couple formations. He's going to have utility, and I know being built, he is super expensive to build, just like the rest of them, but he is going to be utilized in a couple of niche formations, which makes me wonder, guys, where can you merc some heroes like this? For instance, with Baden, with a lot of the whales that have built Baden out, even looking in the Temple Rift, even looking at the Grand Hunt, I thought that we would see him in there by whales that are built out. Unfortunately, he is not used within that game mode. I don't see any of the best teams or the highest scoring teams in there that are running the Awakened version of Baden, which I thought that was really where he was going to shine, would be some of the boss comps, but unfortunately we are not seeing them. Now, with that being said, guys, in all of these Awakened heroes, remember that we haven't seen all of the full rotations for the Cursed Realm. We also have not seen all of the full rotation within the Twisted Realm. So again, some of these heroes could have a little bit more utilization when it comes to building out those game modes. Now, my personal preference, guys, would be the Awakened version, or this would be kind of the way that I would build them, and the way that I've been recommending is the Awakened version of Solus will work fundamentally with just having one single legendary copy. Now, we see the same when it comes to the twins, when it comes to Mortis, when we see it even with Solus, guys, one single version of her, one single copy of the legendary is working incredibly well, because we do have a couple game modes where you cannot murk heroes. So even though I have a 4-star fully built maxed out Solus, in a couple game modes, including the Grand Hunt, you cannot use mercenaries, which means either you have the copy of Solus or you don't really to utilize, depending again on the formations that you're working with in there. So again, my build would be one single copy of the Awakened version of Solus, just that way she can fill in some slots if she is needed. And then I would move right into the Awakened version of Brutus. Again, looking at the overall utility that we're seeing in the hero, he would be my solid choice as my first build, just because he has been tried and true. There are a lot of aspects, again, that he is being utilized. Even now, guys, utilization within the Cursed Realm, the Treasure Scramble within PvP itself, also utilized within the Temple Rift, within the Abyssal Expedition. He is a very, very solid build, and he brings a lot to the team with his SP ability, the shielding ability, the crowd control ability, even with the 5-pole, pulling them all together, running with Honesta. A lot of combinations and formations work incredibly well. In addition, guys, he is available to run within the Mauler Tower. Still, in my opinion, it is probably one of the most difficult faction towers to get through, which is one of the reasons why I absolutely built him out, guys. He has been a carry within the faction tower. So again, that would be my priority. One copy of the Awakened version of Solus, and then I would build out Brutus, guys. After Brutus, so once you do get them to Ascended, guys, you're going to stop doing the summoning with the time emblems. That is when you actually swap over to the Stargazer to continue adding stars within the Stargazer. Now, once I had Brutus up to the Ascended level, my choice at that time would probably be going back to the Awakened version of Solus. Now, as much as I would love to build Thane, guys, but now again, you're looking at a lot of game modes where building her out, having the support hero built a little bit higher, would be beneficial and would allow her to really produce the damage within those game modes. So really, in my opinion right now, it would be Solus. She'd be the one that I would choose. I know a lot of players would go with the Awakened version of Thane, guys, again, just for the PvP aspect, but we're not seeing the utility out of Thane that we are for the Awakened version of Solus or the Awakened version of Brutus in the multiple game modes. Again, just my opinion. There are a lot of different ways to build it. I know there are a lot of different players that are just going straight in 100% with the Awakened version of Solus, foregoing Brutus, foregoing Thane, and all of the other Awakened heroes. Now, honestly, that is a pretty solid choice as well, just because, again, when you look at utility for her within the Twisted Realm, the Cursed Realm, within PvP specs, she is utilized in incredible amount of places, which is, again, the reason why I would definitely pick up one copy, go for the Awakened version of Brutus, and then all in for Solus, guys. So, all right, so that'll do it for kind of the generalized Awakened version tier list. Unfortunately, again, when it comes to Baden, I don't think he's going to have the utility that we're seeing with some of the other Awakened heroes, which I'm a little bit sad to say because, guys, I had super high hopes for him. I absolutely wanted to see him perform exceptionally well, which, again, we're probably going to see him within a couple formations, but is he going to be easily replaced if you don't have him? Yes, he can be. Even if you don't have him built, you can merc him for players that are building him, that put a lot into him. So again, guys, that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.